we're going to look at quadratics. And we've actually already talked about them a little bit. What we did in chapter 7 was all about factoring and multiplying things to get quadratics, and then factoring things to take a quadratic away from standard form to factored form. So we are going to talk about this here with introduction to quadratics. We have learned about linear exponential equations already. Our next type of equation to learn is, I just said it like 8 times, but it's quadratics. Quadratic equation, or quadratics equation. Features of the quadratic equation include standard form, which is what we've been looking at a lot, which is that ax squared plus bx plus c, that equals y. And then with that equals y, that kind of makes it an equation. Graphs of equation is also a shape called a parabola. Which I cannot spell. Let's see if it will do it for me. There we go. Parabola. Yay, spell check. So we're going to do an example of what the parent function looks like. And this is what the parent function is y equals x squared. So we stick in a -3, and I'm just going to do a couple of these. It gives you -3, we'll put it like this, parentheses, squared. And that ends up giving us 9. Just wanted to show you what that looked like. And then what we're going to graph on there is this point, -3, 9. So when we plug -2 in, we're going to get 4. When we plug -1 in, we get 1. When we plug in 0, we get 0. When we plug in 1, we get 1. When we plug in 2, we get 4. And when we plug in 3, we get 9. So these go and give us these lovely points here. So we get -2, 4. We get -1, 1. We get 0, 0. We get 1, 1. We get 2, 4. And we get 3. So we can just take this and plot those points. At -3, we get 9. At -2, we get 4. At -1, we get 1. 0 is 0. And at 1, we get 1. At 2, we get 4. And at 3, we get 9. And we get this fun, like U-shaped graph. And that is a parabola. Okay, so this parabola opens up. It's like you can fill the bowl with water. Opens up. This parabola is vertex. It's the vertex. It's the very bottom of the bowl. This one is a minimum. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little caveat here too. Bottom of the bowl. Just for us to remember. The vertex is 0, 0. Okay. The axis of symmetry is where I can cut it in half, and it's the same on both sides. If we look, we can cut it in half right there where x equals 0. And the axis of symmetry is always going to be x something. So it's x equals 0. And it cuts the parabola in half. And it's the same on both sides. Okay? Oh, it should say it goes through 0, 0, and then it's x equals 0. But, same thing. An up parabola has a positive a value. And guess what? If it goes down, it's going to have a negative one. And like I said before, this has a minimum. If it's upside down, it has a maximum. Okay. So right here, we're just going to plot these points for this next one. And and go over basically the same questions. So at 0, we're at -5. At 1, we're at 0. At 2, we're at 3. At 3, we're at 4. At 4, we're at 3. At 5, we're at 0. And at 6, we're at -5. And it does this lovely curve like this. Okay? So the parabola here opens. Ooh, let's get that text box to show up. Opens down. Its vertex, where it starts repeating and goes back and forth, is 3, 4. Its axis of symmetry is x equals 3. Oh, look, it's always the x value of my vertex. It has, we can circle this, it has a maximum. The vertex has shifted up 4, and it moved to the right 3. Okay? Roots, that's where it crosses the x-axes. Those are really, really important. We all often call them the solutions as well. It's where it crosses the x-axis, which is what's actually here. And here my roots are 1 and 0 and 5 and 0. It'll always be a 0 for the y value, and we're just looking for x. Okay, so we're going to skip down right here, and I'm just going to do one of these. I think I'm just going to do number 6 on Desmos. So we're just going to show how that works. So if we go to Desmos and we go to graphing calculator, I'm just going to type in -1/2. I'm going to move to the outside of that, parentheses, x plus 6. And I'm going to change that parentheses to face the other way. I'm going to make it squared. Not twice. -2. No, plus 2. There we go. And we've got this beautiful graph here. If we look, we can see that the vertex is -6, 2. So we flip back over here, go -6, 2. And then the axis of symmetry is, of course, x equals -6, because it's always the x value of your vertex. And it opens down. And I'm putting this all on the wrong one. Ugh. It's here. It's here. It opens down. And then we want to find out what the roots are. Okay, so that's right here. So we've got -8, 0. That's where it crosses the x-axis. That's how we know what the roots are. One more time, it's where we cross the x-axis. So we have -8, 0, and we have -4, 0. See how if I hover over them, it pops up on Desmos. It's real nice. Good. So that's it. There's some extra ones here that we may try in class, but that is